Welcome, 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 gorgeous soul, to Live Your Best Life with me, your host, Kat Googe, also known as the Joy Queen. We will be having rich and honest conversations about what feeling joyful really means, how to notice more pockets of joy every day, even on the tough ones, and whether laughter really is the medicine we're missing in our lives. I am super passionate about joy, and I love to teach how to intentionally bring it into everyday life instead of waiting for it to happen. I'm a passionate laughter yogi and Reiki healer who is on a mission of global joy, and my heartfelt desire, darling one, is that as we hang out together, you get to reignite your inner joy so you can make the most of your dance on this planet. So, without any further ado, let's dive in. Hey gorgeous souls, bringing you another juicy, joyful and joy-fueled episode of Live Your Best Life. This season is all about the Festival Diaries because over this summer I have got the pleasure and the joy to be in a lot of fields, having a lot of fun at a lot of festivals. So felt like the absolute perfect thing to be bringing to you guys to have a listen so you could see how people are finding these festivals in the real time whilst they're there and how they feel once they've experienced the magic of laughter yoga and a Reiki healing meditation. So this week's episode is from a really beautiful, really small, intimate festival called Midsummer that is local to me. So it's based in Essex in a place called Halstead. And it had caught my eye last year. It had come up in my on my grid, and I was like, oh, that looks like a bit of me. The most beautiful setting. It's set on Sparrows Campsite, which is a mixture of camping and glamping. And what really stood out to me was there's this incredible Geodome. And I was like, that is one of the places I want to practice laughter yoga. That just looks super inviting. So I caught up with the founder, Charlie Butler, who is an absolute peach of a soul. He has created something really magical here. And we had a glorious conversation, and that brought me to being at Midsummer this year and sharing laughter yoga and Reiki. And oh my goodness me, it did not disappoint. The Geodome that I'd visualized me hosting sessions in is just beautiful, just utterly beautiful, because the acoustics in there are incredible. You know, you can be at certain points and spaces within it, and it suddenly sounds like you're mic'd up. So, as a solo person sharing what they're sharing, it could really amplify. And then when we came together as a collective, whoa, you know, there were times we sounded like a laughter choir. It was just incredible. And the setting itself was just such a bit of me. I love camping. I love spending time in nature. So anywhere that's like surrounded by trees and all the green that just like fills you up, and there's fires and there's space and there's just like that, you know, like a big exhale. You know, I am like all over that. So it really was like a real privilege to host there. The energy was incredible. And what I love is Charlie has really intentionally crafted and created it. He could have put more people in and squidged more in, and it still wouldn't have felt busy actually. But he kept it at the perfect level that felt great for him. And so there was a just really beautiful, like, calm and flow and ease to it all. There were a couple of different spaces for people to facilitate stuff outside of like the wooded areas. And then there was something going on in the wooded areas, and then there were walks, and then it was like a sauna and cold plunge area. There was like literally kind of everything you want when you're having that kind of like escape from where you've been, so you can get that rest and nourishment and nurturing that you've most likely been craving. So we had ceremonial bonfires, we had dancing and singing, we heard music, there was yoga, there was conscious dance, there was just a wealth of all sorts of different things, some like crafting things for the kids, foraging, bat walks. It was, like a real diverse mix, and as a result it attracted a really diverse crowd, which like blended like super harmoniously every single person I spoke to, and like they were all super super friendly, was having literally the best time. So I took my husband with me, so we loved the things that we took part in. But actually, like I say so often, the spaces in between is often where the magic is. So, we were in a beautiful little encampment, and we were with like an amazing crowd, a group of old friends who lived locally, and they'd all come together, a couple that were over from the Netherlands, and yeah, just within our collective community of, I think, about 200 people were there. We had our own little kind of micro community too, which is beautiful. I loved our conversations we had around our fire there, our own little encampment. And I loved the conversations I had around the other fires, around the whole area that we were experiencing Midsummer in. And, when we having chats after sessions and, just listening to music, it was all really wonderful. And another thing I really love that Charlie did is he created communal eating opportunities, which again is such a great way for us to come together, and this is the essence of what like came up a lot over Midsummer, is like, we are tribal, and like we're used to being together in communities, gathering right around the fire, sharing stories, being together as one, and we've grown a lot more separated. And it was just a really simple yet oh so powerful reminder of, you know, like where we've come from, and actually where it's so beautiful to take ourselves back to, and then take a slice of that realness, that raw, um, yeah, like that raw kind of like returning to self, and like take some of that wherever we go next, into our everyday lives. And this is the thing about festivals, we experience that magic for a couple of days. And my invitation always when I host at festivals, and this is why I love hosting at festivals, is how can we take some of this magic we've created here into our everyday lives? That is something to always be open and curious about, and willing to go there. Yeah, it was just absolutely, yeah, nourishing, nurturing, soul activating, replenishing. It, yeah, just delivered. And actually, it was just before I went there on the Friday to the Sunday, and then I was home for the Monday, and then boom, off to Glasgow with 250,000 people for almost a week. So it was the perfect thing for me to be doing before I went off into somewhere which was a very different energy, to then host 5 consecutive day workshops. So yeah, like super grateful for Midsummer, because in the giving, you're always receiving. So, yes, I hosted and facilitated, but I received so, so much. So, I already can't wait to be back there next year. And I really invite you to like check it out. Have a listen to the people I spoke to who were experiencing it there. Were having a really beautiful restorative time. And, do check it out. There is often a big draw to go to the big festivals, the bigger energy. But in these smaller, more intimate festivals, there is so much to be gained. As you'll hear from some of what we shared, like big shifts can happen in small spaces, as long as we're open and as long as we're ready. So, can't wait to share all the juice from this with you. And yeah, I really, like I say, I really encourage you to have a little look, have a little think about whether that could be something that would really fit into your schedule for next summer. So I am at Midsummer this weekend, beautiful festival in Essex, and I have just been sharing some delicious laughter yoga. I've got the lovely Amanda here, who has just experienced the session for the first time, wasn't it? Right? You
Second
said,
time,
second
yeah.
time, second time. So I would love to know, like what? How did you find the workshop? Like what did anything particularly surprise you? And yeah, any kind of thoughts that came up at the end of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously last time I did it, I was in my meditation class, so it was a bit more smaller and obviously more intimate, and a lot of my clients are seated. So this was like more energy, obviously, and surprisingly none of us knew each other, but we were very open and stuff. And I just love how the energy increased and stuff. And yeah, laughter's infectious, isn't it? It's such a beautiful energy of healing and transformational, and also sharing that with everyone else around us and holding that space for everyone. It's lovely.
Yeah, I think that whole like coming together as a collective with laughter is just so it's just so freeing, isn't it? Like one of the guys shared, he said he felt really liberated, didn't he? And you could just see like the shift on people's faces, and experiencing it in the Geodome is incredible, isn't it?
The sounds in there and stuff, and it's really powerful because I think the energy is like holding you. It's like a dome, isn't it? So it's holding that energy in as well as up, and just supporting each other in that energy of need and stuff. And I think it felt like we were all taking turns and holding each other's space. And yeah, and I think it's just really powerful when you do it all together. Obviously it's nothing to do practice on your own, but more powerful when you share it with everyone else.
Oh, yeah, totally. Um, were there any of the exercises that you thought, right, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and that's gonna be such a great thing to bring into, my everyday, or to bring in when X happens or Y happens?
Yeah, I feel I definitely want to increase laughter yoga in my practice, and I think even just like laying on your mat and starting to bring that energy and laughter in there, even if it's just a couple of rounds, you're bringing that energy into your body and stuff. I think as even spiritual people, you can get so stepped in like being still and having to sit there and be with your emotions that sometimes you forget that you can transmute that over to laughter and letting that out and not having to sit in your tears or stuff. So I feel that I will definitely be carrying that forward on my next practice. So.
Amazing. And so if laughter yoga was to come up again somewhere, like an event or a festival, like, would you be like a hell yes, I'm in?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely been guiding me to go that way. I think, like I say, we're so used to transmitting pain and having, for me anyway, I always like have to feel that I have to go so deep and dark into the healing process, and I think actually no, you don't have to do that now. You can transmit that energy into light, love, and laughter, and I mean you can, it's like very similar energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel the depths no more. It can be just moved over to a different energy, and I think that's more powerful than that. So
Yeah, and it's such a great way to release, and we were chatting a little bit before, weren't we? But like sadness and joy, like they can dance together, like laughter and tears, like a very similar energy. So getting, and I think actually that guy shared that he'd been feeling that he needed to
Yeah.
cry, and he like laughed instead and felt that liberation, and like that's just such an expansive space to get to, isn't it?
And it's laughter's acceptance, isn't it? Especially I feel the two men that we did have come to us, they've said that.
Yeah.
So you know, when they had that that energy, they're accepting to laugh, and if it was a group space of crying, they probably would have felt that very difficult for them. But
Yeah.
they felt that they could laugh and still express that energy of emotion in a safe place and a welcome place, but their body was allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And you can see both the transformations. Definitely in one guy, I was like, I want to feel like
Yeah.
a different energy on
Totally.
that person, of moving that energy. And he said afterwards, he's like, I needed to have that. And I was like, oh my God, I can definitely see that shifted in you.
Yeah.
So I think it's so powerful in that healing. And like say, some people, you know, find it easier to cry, but actually laughter, we all accept that it's okay to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be an easier entry, can't it? You know,
Yeah.
and the thing is, what we don't look at doesn't go away. So if we
Yeah.
can find ways that feel safe and good for us to let things go, then it actually, God, it's just so helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just keeps coming up again and again and again.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really powerful healing. Like, I think especially for men, and just getting that, it'd be really powerful to have like a men's group of that, because men like to laugh and joke anyway.
Right,
I know they're quite that
yeah.
sort of thing, but if you had it of that, like a group where they used just like, right, you can able to express that energy and that emotion that you've not been able to hold all your life.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I've not hosted all male. I've hosted all female a lot,
Yeah.
and obviously mixed. But yeah, I've not hosted an
No,
all
I think
male
it'd be
laughter
amazing, because I
circle.
think,
That could be amazing.
yeah,
Couldn't it?
I think definitely, because I think men, not all men, but a lot of men find it very difficult to express emotions. When I've held groups, they're very guarded because that's how they've been taught to like to express their emotion. But in a laughter group, it's fine and accepted for that, and you know, all that emotion can come out quite naturally.
This is something I'm going to explore, Amanda.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice.
I'd love to hear. So Midsummer, you were saying you're local to here.
Yeah.
This festival, I mean, this is my first time here. It, like we were both discussing, it's just beautiful, isn't it?
Mm.
What is it about Midsummer that you love?
Oh my gosh, I was just saying to you, obviously, I saw Charlie a couple of years ago when he sort of just started properly again after just lockdown. And he had this dream of having this space and having this event and everything. Obviously, he did the first one last year, which I was unable to attend. But this year, it's really full head. He's sold out his tickets, which is just amazing. But the energy is so lovely here. We've got so many different areas. We've got the woodlands, you've got the meadows, you've got like little group settings where you can be together, but then you can have your own space as well. You've got the glamping tents, you've got your own tents, you've got beautiful facilities, you've got proper toilets, you know what I mean? It's really lovely how he's done it and all together. And literally, I only live in Braintree, so it's about 10 minutes away from me, and you're in the middle of nowhere. Like you can feel like you could be in a different land. You could be like, you know, somewhere magical, but it's so local as well. So it's really convenient for me, and it's really affordable as well. You know, Charlie's made it affordable for everyone, and it's really like trying to not make, you know, obviously make money, but not make it that expensive, just to make sure
it's
everyone's
accessible, isn't
for
it?
everyone. When a lot of festivals are so expensive nowadays to come and enjoy, and it's got everyone, isn't it? We've got so much different age groups as well. I'm really surprised we've got lots of, you know, older generation, but really, really tiny generation, and it's just lovely that it all works, isn't it? It all works. And I just really enjoy it here. It's a nice, it's not a big festival, it's very intimate, but then when you come together, it's quite a lot of people, so it's like a mixture of stuff, really.
It feels like it is for everyone, you know. As we're recording this, there's someone there with a little baby, you know, and then there's people that are, you know, much older, like you say. So it's like it kind of it covers all the ages, and I think it delivers like a range of things that speak to what different people like desire and require from like a wellness kind of event. So I think it delivers in all areas. I'd love to know, you were saying you've come here on your own, so someone might be listening to this and going, oh, I really want to go, but no one wants to go with me. Like, what would you say to if someone was thinking about coming on their own? Because I'm sure he's going to run it next year, isn't it? I think Midsummer is here to stay, right? It's too good not to. What would you say?
I'll just do it. Obviously, I had a bit of fear because I've not really done anything on my own, but I was like, it was like, for me, it's like I have to start doing things on my own. You have to embrace it, and everyone's made me so welcome. I've just joined in everywhere, and I mean, especially here. I mean, you're going to be welcomed, and everyone's so lovely, and just they're welcoming. What if you want to do and be chatting to different people, meeting different. You're not on your own, and that's what I've got. I'm not on my own, even though I feel like I'm here on my own. No one's coming with me, but actually, once you're here, you're not, because there's always groups of people to talk to, or you can spend on your time on your own. It depends what you want to do, but there's so much to do here anyway. I don't think you're ever going to be all like on your own anyway.
Yeah, it's a very safe and welcoming space, isn't it? So I think, if anyone's listening and going, I'd love to go, but I can't get my mates to come with me, like just come anyway. And then trust that you'll be supported. There'll always be people to have a little natter with. And what I think is really lovely here, there's an opportunity to do like communal eating, so obviously that, over food, that invites conversation, doesn't it? So I think he's thought of lots of different ways for people to feel super included, hasn't he?
It's so welcoming, and like I've not felt alone at all. Like in the mornings, everyone's saying good morning, and you recognise people, and they always say that. I think it's a really lovely space here. So.
Oh, thank you so much for all your thoughts about laughter yoga and about Midsummer. It's been an absolute joy to talk to you, my lovely. And I look forward to seeing you here next year.
Yeah, no worries. Enjoy.
Thank you, my love.
That's a good start to start laughing.
Always is. So we are at Midsummer. And I have the gorgeous John and Nikki here with me who've experienced laughter yoga. John, I'm looking at John and he's making me laugh. John's and now Nikki's going. John's been in for a double bubble, haven't you, John?
Oh,
and he brought Nikki along today. But I'd love, so John, I'm going to ask you, what brought you back today to laughter yoga? It was your first experience yesterday. What brought you back?
Oh my goodness! You know what? I didn't know what to expect when I came to the first one yesterday.
Yeah.
It was just, I'd heard of it in the past, but I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. Honestly, I thought, it's pretend laughing. That can't be any good for you. What's that all about?
Yeah.
But I thought, well, just give it a go. Why not? We're here at the festival.
Yeah.
It might be worth trying.
Yeah.
So, and like I said to you yesterday, after it finished, when people were commenting, it's just really liberating. It was like, I just felt free to be, like you said, like a child again.
Yeah.
Like freedom.
Yeah.
What was the question? I always do that.
John, I always do that, right? And you know what? Like normally I'd go, I've got no freaking idea, right? But I do remember. What brought you back? What brought you back?
I just had a bloody good time.
Yeah.
It was really good, and I haven't laughed much lately. I felt a bit stuck, or a bit not myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, things haven't been quite right, and you know what? It feels like, it's a big some of that shit's gone.
Amazing. Your physiology completely changed yesterday, didn't it? And you could
that,
probably feel it. Yeah, you felt it in yourself.
I felt it, and people I was with as well said, you look different. Your eyes have gone blue.
Yes.
And it didn't. Like Tamara said, your eyes are really bright blue now. I was like, which is odd, because I was looking at myself in the mirror the other day and I thought, is there something wrong with my eyes?
Right.
When she said that, I was like, oh, that's good.
So it's like you're being switched back on, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it. It was like, I don't know, how long were we in there? An hour and a half?
Yeah.
And doing lots of weird shit.
Yeah. It's always going to be weird shit.
But it was just bumbling around like you're a kid again, like doing silly things and not giving a fuck about it, and just and making a noise, and it was just lovely. I just felt like people said, oh, your eyes look different, which is what better thing can you say? I don't know. You're just like it feels like this
lit up
energy. So I came back for the energy.
Yes.
And today, because there were so many people in the other day, and it was full of it was electric.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was having a great time.
Yeah.
Today, like we said, there were just a handful of people to start with, but people were drawn in, weren't
Yeah.
they? They
The
came.
juicy joy thread, it worked its magic.
Yeah, your golden
Yeah.
thread. You're pulling people in with threads of joy, like
Absolutely, yeah.
the spider mistress of the Geodome you were today. Like they were just
The
being
joy
sucked
dome.
in.
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
That's
John, I'm
great.
getting a joy dome.
You are a joy dome.
Yay! I'm going to get my own one, definitely. So, Nikki, you came along on John's recommendation, didn't you?
Definitely.
I'd love to know what are your thoughts and feelings having experienced it now?
Well, I just thought it was going to be really awkward and a bit forced, like it wouldn't be kind of real somehow.
Yeah.
But it's not like that at all. And it's just, as soon as you sort of get into it, and then other people start getting into it too, and you go, oh, this is okay, you know, making noises or laughing or, you know, exhaling noisily or whooping or whatever.
Yeah.
It just felt really natural actually, and I was definitely seeking some laughter in my life. There hasn't been a lot of laughter lately, and I really miss that.
Yeah.
And so rather than kind of waiting for those moments to come along where your friends are all together and you suddenly find yourself in that moment where you can really belly laugh together, actually going and looking for it rather than waiting for it to come. So that was quite
I love that.
sort of powerful in itself. And I did get some of those moments where it felt like especially especially on the lying down.
When you sounded like a chicken.
When I sounded like a chicken. Which I never knew that about my life.
Don't joke normally, but suddenly you were just like
I love it, and I love what you said about going to seek it instead, right? Because this is what we can do. We can wait, right? We can wait for joy, we can wait for laughter, we can wait for fun, we can wait for play. But like, how long do we wait?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Time is finite, life is finite, and even when life has been a bit more curvier of the curveballs, right? Because it can feel a bit of a stretch to go and seek it. So like, I really celebrate you saying I decided to seek it, because it can feel harder to seek it, can't it, when we're feeling like we haven't had it.
You kind of feel like you're missing out somehow, don't you? Like all these other people are having an amazing time and giggling and laughing on the internet, and it's all that kind of, you know, well, where's my little piece of this?
Yeah.
And there you go, found it.
And you found your little piece of it.
Thank you
I
so
love
much,
it.
and thank you for being my companion.
Beautiful. I'd love to know, did either of you have a favourite like part of it that really spoke to you? You know, maybe an exercise or a particular section that we did.
So the other day, yesterday, it feels like we've been here
for a week,
ages, in a good way.
Yeah.
But the other day it was when we were going around big. So
the ho ho ha ha.
Ho ha
Yeah.
ha.
Ho ho ha ha. Ho ho ha ha.
And it built up and up and up and up. It was like one of those tribal things.
Yeah.
And then it went down.
Yeah.
And then we all go ho ha ha again.
Yeah.
That was yesterday. I think today it was the final part where we were celebrating.
Yeah, the standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
Yes.
And everyone was just doing their own thing, and I think the inner monkey in me was set free.
The inner monkey. You know, I love it. And the thing is, like, we are tribal, right? Aren't we? But a lot of us, like it, you know, the world we live in now can feel quite disconnected. And actually, this whole festival has been about coming together in community, hasn't it? Gathering around the fire, you know, being a collective. So that kind of like that tribalness with the ho ho ha ha, like there was like a really like raw, beautiful, rich energy in it. Yeah, you know, and like we probably could have just carried on if we could have sustained the breath, but actually
I think the dome would have taken off.
Quite probably. Yeah. How about you, Nikki? Is there something that particularly like spoke to you at the practice?
Well, I really like the standing ovation as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was really beautiful, and just sort of you're giving yourself a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Which you don't really do you? Give other people who've done something amazing a standing ovation, but to think about giving it to yourself, I think that's really lovely. And then having it kind of reflected as you were going around the dome, and that was beautiful. And then the lying down laughing, that really made me feel like a kid, you know, because I don't know when I've last laid down and laughed, you know?
and you hold the sensations in your body are completely different. You've got the ground behind you, haven't you? So it changes how it feels, and it was quite ethereal, really. So
Oh, I love that. I love that. So to wrap up, I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings, both of you, on Midsummer. I think we're all first timers to Midsummer. Am I right? Yeah, it's my first time here. So anyone listening to this might go, what was Midsummer? So like, I'd love to know. Like, would you recommend people coming to this next year? I'm sure like it's going to be back with bells on. I've loved it. And like, what have your highlights been?
Laughter yoga.
Obviously.
Of course. I told you earlier, I am a disciple now. You're my guru, Q.
Love it. I've got a John disciple, hopefully a Nikki disciple.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was, I think, a definite highlight Laughter yoga.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely beautiful here as well, and it's not too crowded, so I don't really want loads of people to come back.
Yeah, well, no, and I think that Charlie, the founder, I think has been very intentional with his numbers, and don't you feel like it's felt absolutely perfect with numbers? Hasn't felt crowded. It's and actually everything feels really carefully curated. Don't you think?
And the wildflowers and the trees here, the site is just amazing.
The woodland space is just where the plans are. We had the opening yoga session there, which was lovely. You can't fault it, really. Clean showers and bathroom, and just spent plenty of space.
Definitely.
The healing areas. And it's
definitely. And I know some people have come in groups,
quiet and gentle.
It hasn't been Larry, has it? And you can like take from it what you require, and like some people have come in big groups like you guys, some people have come on their own, and I think it doesn't really matter, does it? Because everywhere I've been, everyone's been super friendly.
We've spoken to loads of people, and it's really easy. It's much easier here than out in the big wide world to strike up a conversation.
Definitely.
The gang like crew here.
They've been amazing, haven't they?
And the people, was it Emily doing the
the bonfire was incredible.
Throwing the herbs into the
beautiful
fire.
ceremonies, like really great way to welcome in Midsummer, isn't it? Perfect. You guys have been amazing. I am so grateful that you have been part of my mad roaming idea of I'm just gonna do the festival diaries, because why not? I am someone that runs with it, so but it needs the people to come and help build it, so thank you so much. So the next one's going to be Glasgow, but
it'll be quite so
chill. Well, this is why this has been very very important, I think, because it's the calm before the storm, or like the exciting storm, right? But but thank you so much for your time, lovely people. Super appreciated. Just how wonderful was that, listening to Amanda and John and Nikki sharing their experiences of Midsummer and Laughter Yoga. And what I really loved, and this is the epitome of what I share with Laughter Yoga, is it's about creating ripples. And John was such testament to that, because he had already been to the session, so he could easily have gone off and done something else that day, but he really wanted his friend Nikki to experience it, so he came back for more. And I always share in my workshops, like every single one is completely different. And it was, the session on day one was a different collective. We are energy, and so when we're together as collective, then, all our energy is working with each other's energy. So if it's a different mix, then there will be different energy going on. And actually, he's not the only one that came back and did a second session, and all agreed afterwards that it felt quite different, and this is the thing, when we're intentional with how we want our energy to feel, how we want to show up, how regulated we want to feel, it is all about the spaces that we put ourselves in. So celebrating anyone that comes along to any of the sessions, let alone two of them, like that's just such a commitment to self. such a commitment to change things up, you know. And what was so perfect that we spoke about in the interview was the little girl on the Saturday session who literally, as I was explaining the session, she was just in her joy, like running around the whole of the Geodome, just literally embodied in joy, in play, in fun, because like she hadn't got to that point where we suddenly hit it as we grow into young people, then adults, of asking for permission, of judging ourselves, of thinking that I might be too much, thinking that I might not be enough. You know, all those narratives that so easily trip us up and get in the way. She literally was, I think she was, you know, about 2, something like that, and just toddling around, like smiling, like just fully embodied, you know. And this is the thing. This is the thing. Laughter yoga is permission to be yourself. And I think so often we, as old adults, can get caught up in that moment having passed and it not being available. And it's just not true. It may not feel available right now because of life circumstance or, you know, habituated patterns and beliefs and all that kind of thing. But it doesn't mean it's just not going to be available and that's it, full stop. You know, when we go within and we ask ourselves what we need and we listen, and I mean really listen, you know, we get to shift things up. We get to be the creators of our own joy. We get to be in charge of our own power. We get to like lead with purpose and lead with love and lead with joy, right? And self leadership, actually, laughter yoga is an incredible act of self leadership, because you know people can like disregard the power of it and think of it as, and I do like inverted commas, you know, just laughing. Anyone listening to this who has experienced a session with me will like agree wholeheartedly. It's so much more than just laughing. You know, people have deep transformational shifts through energetic workshops that I host involving laughter and movement and Reiki. It's way more than just having a laugh. And when you are willing to be open to that and you're curious, you know, that's when like you'll receive it, you know? Like it's such powerful stuff, and I love it when kids come along to a session, and you know, some stay and some trickle in and out, um, but they always model. They always model. They always show us the way. They always guide, because they haven't got caught up in their own heads. They haven't got the self-imposed limitations that we so often has as adults. They haven't got that self-judgment, you know, and they're not asking if it's too much if they just run around a room like giggling and happy, you know, because why should it be? Like, why should it be? You know, we should all just like be giving ourselves laps of honor every day. You know, this is why I teach standing ovation as one of my practices for laughter yoga, because it's really empowering. It's such a huge, beautiful, loving reminder of who we are under the layers, like fully let out to shine. It's just incredible. So incredible. And you know, that realization that this can come through something simple like laughter, when that kind of lands, that in itself is power, because you know, we're resourced with it, right? And we so often use it as a reaction, but it's in here, it's deep within. So using it as a resource super powerfully like it's like, you know, that's the shift. That's where the magic happens. When we go on retreat in Portugal in October, so 28th of October to the 2nd of November in Praia da Luz, we are going to be using our laughter so powerfully, so magically to release old stuff, release stories that don't serve us, release limiting beliefs, and really transmute what has been getting in the way and really fuel our fire. It's called Relight Your Fire for a reason, this retreat. It's going to be super transformational. It's going to be, you know, exactly what you needed. And maybe you didn't even know that you needed it. I'm co-hosting it with the most incredible yoga teacher and life coach, Samantha Stone. So we will be having powerful conversations to like really stretch what's possible for us. We'll be having some beautiful movement through yoga and dancing. We'll be sharing some laughter. We'll be sharing some Reiki. We have water aplenty. Anyone that's been following me for a while knows that I'm kind of perhaps half mermaid. So being by the sea is just incredible. And we have this most incredible pool, so we can practice by the pool, practice by the sea. So Mother Nature is going to work her magic too. It's super elemental. Like we'll use the fire, we'll use the earth, we'll use the water, we'll use the air to just to really reset, realign, reignite, refresh, re-energize, and come back to ourselves. I literally can't wait to go there. So check out the show notes if you feel excited by really getting an opportunity to go within and light that spark. Like, you know, really light that spark, relight your fire, and remember who you are. So, gorgeous souls, I am just super grateful for you journeying with me through this podcast. It's been an absolute delight to share this episode with you. If you would love to share it with your friends, please do invite them to share it with others, because this is how we spread the laughter ripple. This is how we spread the love. This is how we become joy makers and joy givers and joy receivers. And I can't wait to share the episode that's going to hit next week, which is coming from Glasgow. So it is going to be like juice. Super excited to have taken over sharing laughter yoga in the healing field, in the fire circle, an incredibly magical spiritual space. So if you're a Glasgow lover, and even if you're not, right, even if you're not, you're Glasgow curious perhaps, like give it a listen. Like it's literally going to be the full juice, and you'll feel like you're there too. In the meantime, darling ones, just tune into joy, tune into those pockets, really notice the moments, like eyes wide open, the lens on of really seeing what's around us, and of course, as always, fully living your best life. Thank you so much, gorgeous soul, for listening to this episode of Live Your Best Life. I hope you love listening to it as much as I did creating it. It really is such a joy to share this with you. It would be amazing if you could share the love and tell your friends to have a listen too. And I would be super grateful if you could follow and subscribe to Live Your Best Love so you'll never miss an episode, and rate or review the podcast. In the meantime, darling one, remember how incredible you are and keep noticing those pockets of joy.